Thanks for joining us for our next video. This is the first video that we're going to be presenting on theory that you need to understand in order to tune a piano by ear. Today's video is going to be showing you the basics of the notes and intervals. Okay, so we're going to be showing you, and many of you, if you play the piano, may already be aware of this information. But if you're brand new and don't really understand music theory at all, this information may be helpful to you. Okay, so we're going to start with, and as most of you should know, that pianos have white keys and black keys. You may have noticed that the white keys are all the same width, but then here between the white notes we've got sets of black keys, okay, and they have a set of 2, a set of 3, a set of 2, and as we go up and down the piano you can see it alternates between groups of 2 and 3 black keys, and those black keys are going to tell you what the letters of the notes on the piano are. Okay, so again, this is very basic information for somebody who hasn't studied piano before. But if we come to any set of 2 black keys and go to the left, the white note just to the left of it, that is always going to be a C. Okay, so if we go up here to the next set of 2 black notes and go to the note to the left of it, that's going to be a C. Okay, so there's actually 8 C's on the whole piano, and each white note has a letter that corresponds to it. Okay, so right next to the C, of course, is going to be the letter D. So all the D's are between the sets of 2 black notes, and then the letter E, F, G, A, and B. Okay, so if we come to a set of 2 black notes, we're always going to have C, D, and E that surround those 2 black notes. If we have a set of 3 black notes, it's always going to be F, G, A, and B that surround those 3 black notes. Okay, and that's going to apply to the notes on the entire piano. Okay, so that's kind of the start. Now, the black notes are what they consider as sharps and flats. Okay, and piano tuning, in most cases, we only call them sharps. Okay, but sharps and flats. What a sharp is, okay, if we take any white note and go to the actually, before we talk about the sharps and flats, I'm going to talk about half steps and whole steps. Okay, if we go from if we've got white notes and black notes, if we go from any single note, no matter if it's white or black, and go to the next note to the right of it or to the left of it, okay, but the distance between 2 notes that are right next to each other, whether it be here to here, or here to here, or here to here, or even between these 2 white notes, okay, that would be called a half step. Okay, so that's what they call a half step or semitone. Okay, and if we take any 2 half notes, okay, like from here to here, okay, which is 2 half steps, 1, 2, that would be called a whole step. Okay, obviously 2 halves make a whole, so 2 half steps together would make a whole step. Okay, so here to here would be a whole step, here to here would be a whole step, here to here would be a whole step. Okay, right here to here is a half step because there's no black notes between them, but that's a whole step, this is a whole step, that's a whole step. Okay, and these here are all half steps. Okay, so and I just went from C up to C. Ignore that the piano's a little bit out of tune, but so those are whole steps and half steps. Now, again, going back to sharps and flats. If we are on any white note and we go to the note just to the right of it, usually a black note, that is going to be the sharp. Okay, so this is C, this one is C sharp, this is D, that's D sharp. Now it gets a little bit tricky here when we get to E because there's no black note here, but theoretically this is F, but it's also E sharp. Okay, so the sharp is always the note to the right of the note that it's sharp of. Okay, now for flats, which you'll see that a note can be a sharp or a flat, is the note just to the left of it or going down on the piano. Okay, so if we're at E, the note just to the left is a black note, and that would be E flat. Okay, so here we've got D and D flat. And again, just like we had for the E sharp, this is C, and this is C flat, okay, because there's no black note there. So the half step below the white note would always be the flat of the note that it's below, or the half step above. And when I say above, it doesn't mean vertically above, but up above in pitch. Okay, we say up is to the right and down is to the left on a piano, because as we go to the right the pitches get higher, and as we go to the left the pitches get lower. So those are sharps and flats, and that kind of that's important to remember. Again, in tuning, we in most cases refer to just sharps. Not many tuners will refer to notes as flats. Okay, so here we've got C sharp. This note is C sharp and D flat, but we'll mostly call it C sharp in piano tuning. The next thing we're going to talk about is intervals. Okay, intervals is the distance from one note to the next. Now we talked about half steps and whole steps, which are a distance, but we're going to give them other names as well. Okay, so that these names are used in piano tuning theory, and understanding what you need to understand when you're learning piano tuning. Okay, so any half step, okay, is what's called a minor second. Okay, in intervals we have what are called seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, sevenths, and eighths. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit more about different types of those types of intervals. But basically, C to D would be a second, and it's actually a major second. Okay, and the reason for that is because a major second is going to be 2 half steps. Okay, and so that's a major second. Okay, if we go to C sharp, that's going to be a minor second. Okay, so minor second, major second. Now C to E is a third, but it's a major third. If we go to the D sharp, or technically, if we're going to call it a third, it would be E flat. That's going to be a minor third. Okay, so we've got minor second, major second, minor third, and major third. Okay, the next interval is a fourth. Okay, now the fourth, they don't call major or minor, they call it a perfect interval. Okay, the perfect intervals are fourths, fifths, and eighths. Okay, but so this is a perfect fourth. Okay, if we go to the and as you notice, there's no F flat. Okay, but if we were to go to the F sharp, this is now called an augmented fourth. C to F sharp is an augmented fourth. Okay, so perfect fourth, augmented fourth. Then we have the C to G, which is a perfect fifth. Okay, now they don't call C to G flat a minor fifth that you would think with the minor second and minor third. They would call that a diminished fifth. Okay, and I'm not going to go into the reasons why that is in this video, but just so you know what the name of that is, that's a diminished fifth. Or as you noticed, it's also an augmented fourth. Okay, so that's your perfect fifth. If we go to C to A, that's going to be a major sixth. Okay, so and if we go to the half step below it, A flat, that's a minor sixth. So minor sixth, major sixth. Okay, C to B is a major seventh. So major seventh. C to B flat would be a minor seventh. And then C to C is what's called a perfect eighth, or more commonly they'll call it an octave. Octaves are very important in piano tuning, and we'll come to understand that better as we get into more details about theory. But that's an octave or a perfect eighth. So again, a review: we've got minor second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, major sixth, minor seventh, major seventh, and perfect eighth or octave. Now you can apply those intervals, and those are all based on the number of half steps, the distance, number of half steps between the notes of the two notes in the interval. You can start on any note. For example, we're going to start on A. Okay, we're going to move over just a little bit and start and try this starting on A. If we go up 1/2 step, that's a minor second, major second, minor third, major third. Now you notice the major third is not a white note to a white note like it was on the C to E. Okay, and I'm not going to go into all the details of why that is, but just so you know, it's still 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps apart, just like it is C to E. Those are both major thirds. Okay, after the major third is the perfect fourth, augmented fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, major sixth, minor seventh, major seventh, and octave. Okay, so you can start on any note that you want. You could even start on a black note and do the same notes. But when intervals are very important in piano tuning, because that's when you're tuning by ear, that's what you're going to be. Those are the intervals you're going to be listening for doing your checks and tuning your notes, especially the temperament octave or the center octave that you're going to be starting your tuning with when you're tuning by ear. So those are the basic intervals. So now hopefully you understand the names of the notes, what sharps and flats are, and the names of the intervals that we're going to be using and understanding piano tuning theory to help you be able to move forward. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to check out our website, howardpianoindustries.com.